Welcome back to Sharing with Shamika, and today is Valentine's Day, and watch me prepare Valentine's dinner for me and my husband. I'm going to start out here with some brownies. I'm going to use the recipe that's on the back of the box, and the recipe called for 1 egg, 1/4 cup of oil, and 1/4 cup of water. And on Valentine's Day, I always like to have something chocolate. I wanted these brownies to be a little special, so I found a heart-shaped pan. I'm going to spray that down and add my brownies in here. I baked it at 350 for about 20 minutes. Now let's move on over to our baked potatoes. I have 2 baked potatoes, and even though they're in plastic, these potatoes were very dirty, so I washed them several times and then I wiped them down, making sure I got all dirt off of it. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to poke holes in them just so that they can bend and don't explode. And I'm going to do that for each one of these potatoes. And I'm going to be putting these potatoes in the air fryer. Found out that putting them in the air fryer comes out better like the restaurant. So I'm adding some olive oil on top, and then I'm going to add some salt. And following this recipe, I'm telling you, it comes out just like the restaurant. So I put them in the air fryer at 375 for 30 minutes. Halfway, I turn them over. Next, I'm going to go ahead and I have 2 ribeye steaks. I've cleaned them now. I'm patting them dry. You want to make sure that they're dry. I let them sit out for about 5 minutes to dry even more. And then I'm going to add some olive oil, and I'm going to liberally rub that into the steak. And I'm going to use 3 ingredients: the onion powder, garlic powder, and then I'm going to add some steak seasoning. And I'm going to do this on both sides. And you don't need a lot of seasoning for these steaks. They actually turned out really good without having to put a lot. Salt is inside of that steak seasoning that I'm using. And once I season these steaks, I let them sit out on the counter for about another 15-20 minutes before I started cooking them. So I have a cast iron skillet with some oil in it, and I'm going to cook them for about 3 to 5 minutes on each side. You want to get a good crust on the outside of it. And here I'm going to flip it over. And for another 3 to 5 minutes. I'm also going to make sure I brown the sides as well. And my pan is on like medium high. And here I am browning the sides because that's where a lot of the fat is. Then I'm going to go ahead and do my other steak. And do the same thing there. If you like your steak medium well, then this is how I'm making these steaks. So once I do my sides on this one, I'm going to go ahead and add the other steak into this pan as well. I'm going to put them, I turn my stove off, and I'm going to put this in the oven at 350 for about 15 minutes, just to get that medium well. Here is the brownie after it baked. Now let's go ahead and do our side salad. So I had a tomato, and then I'm going to chop up some eggs, and I had a bag of salad mix, but I always like to add tomatoes and eggs into my salad. We don't go out for Thanksgiving. Lord. We don't go out for Valentine's anymore because it's real expensive. You have to wait in line forever. So I cook this meal at home. What I could get in a nice restaurant, I can cook this at home with a fraction of the cost. And because I love to cook, it's just easier that way. So now I'm just removing some of the pieces of the salad that I don't like, and I'm adding in my eggs and my tomatoes. I'm going to top it off with a little bit of shredded cheese, and then that's the side salad. So now I'm taking the steaks out the oven, and I'm going to let them rest for 5 to 10 minutes before we eat. You want to make sure those juices recirculate within that steak and you don't lose it and it becomes dry. So here they are, and they were awesome. When I tell you, the steaks was just like going to a steakhouse. So let's move over to our baked potato. Those are done. So when it comes to baked potatoes, I like them to almost be mashed. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm adding in some butter. I'm breaking down the inside of that potato so it can be sort of like mashed potatoes, sort of, or like a twice baked potato. I'm going to add some garlic herb seasoning in here that has a little bit of salt in it. Then add some black pepper. And I'm also going to add a slice of American cheese in this too. I'm just going to break it up and then mix it up inside this potato. And I find that doing it this way, you have a good bite all throughout that potato, and you're not constantly trying to add butter or this part of the baked potato is dry. Add my sour cream. Here's the end result. We have our steak, our baked potato, and our side salad at a fraction of the cost that you would pay if you went out to eat on Valentine's Day.